Okay, 3 things to know before car living. So whether you're being evicted or you're forced into this situation or you made this choice just through your own free will, like myself, these tips will help you significantly. Okay, so number 1 is you got to have the right mindset around, living out of your car. It's not normal to most people, right? But what is normal? Normal is always subjective or objective depending on your situation. But anyway, if you can accept that you can do this and not feel like terrible about yourself, you can live out of your car and you can save significantly more money than most people. I checked the stat again the other day and it was like 40% of Americans. So almost half of America, almost 140 million some people have less than $1,000 in savings. So again, I'm coming up to money, bringing up the finance talk because this is one of the biggest top benefits to living out of your car is if you live out of your car, you're no longer paying rent. Rent, housing expenses, living expenses is the single biggest, highest expense that we all pay here living in America. And for me personally, my quick story, I got sick and tired of doing that. Why should I work at a job I really don't want to work at, FedEx warehouse, basically half of my life to pay for, just to pay for living expenses, just to be bare line. I would pay, around $1,100 for rent, power, internet, that kind of stuff. Really those 3 ones, renter's insurance. And to me, I could no longer justify that being a single solo man at 29 years old. It's getting hot in here. I'm going to crack it. So what I did is I chose to, okay, it's warming up. I can live out of my car. And you might be in a situation where you're not doing it out of choice, but you're doing it out of survival or whatever reason. So I hope this video helps you. I've been doing it for the last 4 months. And I can tell you from my personal experience that you have to be able to wrap your mind, have the right attitude about doing it, because a lot of times we think about what other people think about us way too much versus doing what we know we have to do for ourselves. So that's the biggest tip is give it a couple weeks to get used to it. Even for me, I had done it before, but it still took some getting used to. And doing it in the middle of the summer, even in Ohio, in the north, is challenging because the heat, I will say, is one of the biggest tips. The heat for sleeping at night is one of the hardest things to overcome. And actually, I have I have a fan. So if you have a fan like this and you're sleeping out of your car and you just have some air, I'm sweating. I just got out of the gym. I was in the saunas. But anyway, if you got some air, you got a fan, that will significantly help you sleep better at night. So that's a big tip, getting right into the sleeping part, because most of your time you don't want to be in your car. You want to be at the gym like I was just at, or you want to be at work, wherever you work, or you want to be at the library or somewhere you can decompress, you can relax, you can read books, you can check your phone, and you're doing it outside of your car, right? So your car is your bed now, basically. It's where you sleep rent-free. You no longer pay $31 a day like I did. Something to think about, right? If you break it down into days, which really helps motivate me, is every day of my life, I wake up in my car, I have kept $31. I've kept $31 in my pocket. Everyone else you see around the world, almost everyone else is running around like a chicken with their head cut off, working multiple jobs, doing all these things, stressed out of their mind, doing all this stuff, constantly doing. And I feel like a lot of society has lost the being of our human being. We're just constantly doing, not because we want to 24/7. It's one thing if you do stuff out of joy, out of you want to, out of interest, but out of survival, out of just making ends meet. 40% of America has less than $1,000 in savings. And most people are robbing Peter to pay Paul. They're going to work just to cover bills with nothing else to show for. Financially, there's no gain. There's no savings. There's no safety net. There's no peace of mind. For me, I am not going to live like that. So I get a little pumped up sometimes because I'm not going to live like that. That is, to me, it's a terrible way to live my life. I'm not ragging on anyone else in that situation. I have empathy for you. This is why I'm doing videos to help people, because look, you might think living out of your car sucks, and for a lot of people it probably does, but if you can do it, if you can live out of your car for 3 months, 6 months, a year or so, imagine how much money you could save. Imagine the different life situation you would be in. Like, you can't even imagine that. If you had an extra $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 of liquid cash, what that could do for your life. I can tell you for myself, just getting into my story, the last couple months from like, I don't know, till mid-September, I saved like $4,000 in like 2 months. So I quadrupled what the average American has in savings for just their whole life. And I did that in 2 months. I did that in 2 months of my life, which really, if you think about it, that's not a long time. 2 months, 1 month, 3, it's not a long time. But anyway, I want to keep this video focused on the tips. Okay, so going back to sleeping is, you want to know your area. Where are the 24/7 stores that you can go to? Gyms, IHOP, restaurant, Kroger's, Walmart's, grocery stores. In my experience, Kroger's been the best. IHOP, I've slept at many different places, and the only night I've ever been woken up by security was in San Diego, California. So, and I've been doing this for about 4 months. So I can tell you that if you needed a little more encouragement, you needed a little personal experience from someone who's done it, it's possible. You can sleep in your car. You can make it work for you. Now, I will say it depends a lot on other factors: your height, your size, your mental fortitude, your ability to handle being alone for long periods of time, your overall health. Do you have any medical conditions, sleep conditions? Any of that stuff is going to affect, obviously, your lifestyle, like living out of your car. So for me, I can tell you, I just sleep in the back seat, and the way I wrap my head around it is like, it's like a small couch. Like, could you sleep on a small couch anywhere else if you had to bend your knees up or you know, sleep like that? Yes, the answer is yes. So why can't I do it in my car, right? And that comes back to temperature, safety. There's a lot of concerns you might have going through your mind. Obviously, being a man is very different than being a woman. So I'm not here to dismiss any legitimate concerns you may have, but I'm just here to encourage. If this is something you want to do, I'm not saying you're going to like it. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I think it's realistically possible for a lot of people. I think it's realistic for a lot of people that don't think they could do it, because I wasn't even sure if I could do it. And I will say it's been easier than I thought. It's been very hard at times. I'm not going to say it hasn't been miserable sometimes. Of course it has. When you can't sleep, or you're working at a job, physical labor, and you've slept 3 hours, it sucks, right? But when you compare it to normal lifestyle, again, how many people go to work off of 3 or 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and they have all these life stressors, and they're doing demanding jobs physically or mentally, right? What's the difference? The difference with this, I don't pay $1,000 a month for basic living expenses. That $1,000, that $31 per day stays in my pockets. So what I do now in my current situation, I left my FedEx job, I'm driving Lyft. I can do like Uber, I can drive Lyft, cram all my stuff in the back trunk, and I can go make $75 to $250 a night just driving people around in a car that I literally live out of. And if you compare what you can earn on the go versus my expenses, I'm always profitable. Every week or every month of my life, I'm always profitable. I'm able to save money significantly faster than I did before. So sleeping arrangements, you want to get that figured out. Again, Kroger's been great, 24/7 places, because you're not likely to have security or the police come wake you up, because people are there for business. It's open 24 hours a day. So that's a big one. The gym is huge. I like to go to Lifetime Fitness last couple weeks. You want to take care of your health. You don't want to neglect that. I was eating fast food garbage every day for a couple months, and I knew I could do it short term, but long term you don't want to do that because it's very, very bad for your overall health, your organs, it's not good. So anyway, I hope these tips have helped. I think I covered a lot of things. You want to have your charger. You want to have the right mindset around living in your car, just accepting that I can do this. And if people make fun of me, or if people don't understand it, or people whatever, who cares? Because they're not paying your bills. They're not going to be the ones paying your $1,000 of rent and your $200 electric bill and your $80 internet and your $100 cable and your renter. Like, they're not paying those bills. So you can keep all that money in your pocket instead. And one last thing I'll say is, when you do this, when you actually live this experience, you will adjust and figure out how to spend a lot of time on your loan and how to make it a good life. You're gonna go to the gym more often, or the library, or get into different topics, or maybe start creating content like this, or taking care of your health better at the gym, because now you have time. I don't worry about spending $130 a month on the gym because I can make that in one day. I don't worry about doing that, and my expenses are less than, I don't know, $1,200, $1,000-ish a month. So I don't worry about actually doing the things like going to the gym, eating healthier food, spending more time learning, reading, etc. I don't worry about those things because my lifestyle doesn't have me basically drowning anymore and just barely scraping by. So those are my thoughts. I'm gonna go. If you have questions, you can drop them in the comment section below this video. I will gladly answer any questions. Here to help. Let me know. Peace out.